One page to get introduced to a new girlfriend. That's right, much like the manga, we are jumping straight into talking about Volume 15 of the 100 Girlfriends Who Really Love You. This is Hifumi Sue, and she's a numeral file. If that isn't a word, it is now. If it is a number, she loves it, but also hates math because it violates the numbers that she loves so much. Outside of numbers, she is very cagey. Hell, to get her to agree to date him, Rentaro had to turn himself into numbers and show her that together they can form even larger digits. Even out of context, that's an amazingly beautiful sentiment. But ultimately, I feel like Sue's entire shtick doesn't really make the count. It's really the extremism of it, because it means that in order to interact with the family in any measure, her obsession actually has to take a back seat, which we'll get to later. The point is, I think it makes her introduction by far the weakest, though her bonding with the family chapter does soften that blow, even if it does touch on the problem that I have with the setup. Akko reaches out to her being in the same class, and Sue is having problems remembering the other girlfriends' names, let alone even caring about them. And so Akko assists by helping Sue come up with numerical puns for each and everyone's name, which is thankfully easy since Japan commonly uses numbers from many sources. Also, while writing this script, I noticed that Sue is just straight up watching the clock on her phone for entertainment. I may not be completely on board with the execution of this bit, but that is absolutely hilarious. But no time for that. The next chapter is actually addressing how other people view the Rentaro family. Kishika and Kusuri are asked by their classmates about how they know each other, since they did start being friendly with each other out of nowhere. Kusuri, lacking all tact, proudly proclaims that they have the same boyfriend, which weirdly leads to someone asking, they're letting him two-time them? Which is not how that works. Even if you don't understand polyamory, logically, you can't two-time people if they are aware and consenting to the situation. However, manipulation is fully on the board, and that is the more serious question to be asked by someone who is concerned and unaware of the situation. Anyway, nitpicks aside, this leads to an argument between Kusuri and Kishika. One wants to be out and proud of her relationship, while the other wants to protect those she loves from the scorn of others. It's a fun little no one's wrong situation that I really wish was a 2-chapter arc, and got more family members involved to get more perspectives. However, as it stands, Kishika has a think on it, and Kusuri is given a perspective by Yaku. This ultimately leads them to wanting to make amends, and while Kishika simply wants to apologize, Kusuri of course goes bioterrorists, and wipes the memories of their classmates, mentally turning them into babies. Smugsuri. Anyway, they get fixed and still forget the conversation from yesterday, where Kishika is able to find a middle ground, telling them that she and Kusuri have the same boyfriend and that it's fine. It's just how they do things. You know, like a normal person would do when introducing people to a subject matter they may find alarming if they do not know the context. Though of course, Kusuri complicates that. Next, we have Rentaro and Chio going to an adult amusement park. So in the following chapter, Ahari rents out a swimming pool at night, and so that the word bubbles don't block the swimsuits, Kusuri makes everyone take a 2-syllable limiting drug. We are not asking how that affects Shizuka, though even with that, there's really not a lot of great shots of everyone's swimsuits. But there is still enough for me to fire out an out of 10 ranking for each swimsuit. Let's go! DJ's Yakuzen, drop a beat. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. I will continue to do this gag whenever I find a good opportunity for it. You cannot stop me. But now we move on to a chapter with all of the shorties, which now includes Sue. They're playing Fall Guys in real life, and before I get into the critique I have to levy, can I just say, oh my god. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my sweet angels above. I'm them right now. Anyway, so about Sue. This chapter shows that her quirk fundamentally does not work with being part of a dynamic group. They heavily downplay it here. Instead of being a numeral file that dislikes pretty much everything else, she is more like a closed-off cagey girl with a special interest in numbers. There is a difference. You can't tell me that the girl who picked up the numbered playing cards in her introduction and looked at the face cards in disgust is the same girl that is begrudgingly playing baby's first Squid Games. The immediate adjustment to the personality just tells me that this concept was not fully thought out before implementation, and it does make me worried going forward. Are we going to see Introduction Sue whenever we get a chapter more solely focused on her, and then the more tempered Sue in group chapters? Honestly, I much prefer the second version of Sue, cause she feels more like a character than a bit made manifest that she was in her introduction. So I'm going to remain optimistic that we will not see a fluctuation like this, and that the intro was more of a bumpy takeoff. But with that out of the way, we have a chapter focusing on the surprising trio of Iko, Hahari, and Momoha. I was honestly confused by this setup before realizing that these are the three whose biggest vices are very disruptive activities. And said activities throw off a picnic date they're on with Rentaro, which they decide to redo, relying on each other to hold them back thanks to their weaknesses not having overlaps. Technically. They are, of course, each tempted by their sins as they walk through the park with Rentaro, who is genuinely just happy to be here as per usual. Bless him. Though, of course, it culminates in all of their vices being presented in one activity and all is lost. Though, Rentaro specifically took them here to have them be happy, so really everyone wins. Speaking of winning, we get another ordinary day snippet chapter. I thought we were going to have to wait a volume or two. Like the last video, I'm going to narrow it down to my two favorite snippets, though I really enjoy them all. The best one, hands down, is Nano making a crochet doll and asking Meme for advice, leading Nano to carrying it around everywhere to give it love and a human touch, and then reveals that it was actually a gift for Meme the entire time. This shit is my crack. Also, the bit with Momoha and Hakade trading dirty stories is insane, complete with Shizuka accidentally reading one as well. Honorable mention goes to the fact that this chapter also is the one that is celebrating the announcement of the anime. Ah, crap, I forgot to make a Season 2 video. And what's worse is the last main chapter involves an NTR situation. Like, not actually, because duh, but you know what I mean. Rentaro helps Yamame out at her grandparents' tea shop when the two are approached by some foreign prick that hits on Yamame and is also racist. A bear ends up coming in, stopping the fight between him and Rentaro, definitely saving that man's life, and Rentaro uses the power of love to scare away the bear. Grandma then pulls but there's only one bed on the young couple, and of course nothing happens. Outside of Rentaro getting cuddled like a body pillow and dying. 100% a mood, and hey, we got this bit back. The bonus chapter is about Sue and this podium that she really likes from kindergarten. And let me tell you, this just feels depressing. An earlier chapter had a cute moment of Sue with a pair of sevens that was similar, her treating them like people, but that felt way more cute. Like, I really want you to sit down and think about this for a second. This is a 5-year-old girl sitting in a shed talking to numbers on a podium all by herself, and starts bawling her eyes out when she realizes she won't be able to see them again. I'm sorry, that's not quirky, that's absolutely heart-wrenching. So yeah, Sue is a bit of a mixed bag for me, but I'm gonna wait a few more chapters with her to get a better read on the matter. Though, overall, as you can probably tell by the fact that I skipped over an entire chapter, this was a weaker volume to me. Though I will say that Chio really should wear her hair down like this normally. It is a much better look for the character design. I've honestly been thinking about that for a bit now. But hey, what are your thoughts on Sue, Chio's hair, and this volume overall? Leave a comment down below, I'm very interested to find out. With all that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time in the void. Later.